Trendz. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting edition of Trendz Travel. I'm your host for today, Eloise Goebel, and right now I'm in the beautifully fabulous Pierre Boutique Hotel and Spa. And while my inner child enjoys this elegant swing, you can have a look what's coming up next and see me on the Rovers Rail.
Coming up next on Trendz Travel this week, we explore the oldest and most romantic mode of transport with Rovers Rail. Then we go to Ethiopia and get to know some hyenas. Nigerian women bring Mokoko alive with the arts. And finally, good food, good wine and great company. All this and so much more on Trendz Travel this week.
The train departs from Capital Park in Pretoria to Platform 24 in Cape Town. The 1600-meter meander is a perfect illustration of South Africa as a world in one country. The general makeup of the locomotive consists of a generator car, a staff car, guest sleepers, a non-smoking lounge car, dining car, kitchen car, smoking lounge, and observation car at the tail. The inside of the luxury liner is really not what one would expect. The first impressions of the train's decor is that this is colonial-style luxury on a grand scale. There are 3 guest sleepers to choose from, depending on the size of your budget. They are entry-level but still opulent Pullman suites. These suites, as with all, have an ensuite bathroom and shower. The Deluxe Suite, which is where most passengers find themselves, and where I made my home for the 3-day, 2-night journey, can be set up in 2 ways. It can accommodate 2 passengers in twin beds for 2 people sharing but not sharing a bed, or you can have the double bed if you are more romantically inclined. Each have a mini lounge area as well as an ensuite bathroom and shower. Then comes the golden ticket in this luxury travel, the Royal Suite. The Royal Suites, each of which make up half a carriage, are spacious and elegant. Each has its own private lounge area with champagne on ice. The air-conditioned suites can accommodate 2 people with the option of side-by-side twin beds or spacious double beds with lots of packing room just above. But what really sets the suite apart is its full bathroom. Equipped with a freestanding Victorian bath, all of this on a train, it doesn't get much better than this. The train chugs on smoothly while you adjust to the soothing sound of the rail and explore your cabin. The first thing you'll see is the leather-bound brochure. This handy folder welcomes you on board with a letter from your host, Rowan Voss, who likes to make these trips personal to his guests. In the folder you'll find all the facilities and services available to you that one can experience and encounter while on board. It also features a few house rules as well as an overlay of the different cabin or suite types. A helpful tool that is printed for you along with all of these is the itinerary for the next 2 days' journey, which includes 2 excursions. The highlight of the brochure is the decadent menu of all the dishes one can look forward to on board. Of course, anything resembling a goodie bag is more than welcome, and Rovers had a special amenities pack waiting for us, which included all your usual mini bath and shower products, but with a twist. It all contains rooibos. Little known fact about rooibos is that it grows only in the Western Cape province of South Africa. Not only is our pack filled with unique and versatile products, it is also proudly South African. An hour into our journey with our heads out of the window, just enjoying the scenery, we are welcomed to the lounge car for afternoon tea. This is a glorious spread of baked goodies, yummy sandwiches, a selection of freshly cut fruits, and even chocolate goodies and sweets, plus any drink of your choice, should tea not be, well, your cup of tea. When most of the guests had retired to their sleepers after tea, I did some exploring of my own and stumbled onto the bar car, where I was able to interact with the friendly staff and have a special, made just for me, virgin pina colada. After that tailor-made indulgence, it was off to the observation deck. I must say this is my favorite car by far. It's a bit loud and a bit windy, but it's quite an experience to look out at the passing scenery with the wind in your hair. Definitely a selfie-worthy moment. After that vainglory, we did manage to have a chat with the train manager.
I basically oversee the whole operation, making sure that the train gets from point A to point B, making sure the guests are happy, and then obviously as well taking care of the staff. I would say scenery-wise, definitely the Durban Safari, and beautiful scenery all the way. Then again, there's a lot of people that prefer this scenery, you know, going through the Karoo. And then of course we've got our Dar es Salaam. The Dar es Salaam is much longer, but there's so much more to see. You travel through 5 different countries, you see 5 different cultures, and you also see areas that you never get to see when you travel by car.
Then it was back to exploring. The lounge car also has a mini gift shop for anyone wanting to take home a souvenir or robust memorabilia. The variety is huge, such as robust teddies, hats, shirts, but what I love most are the miniature trains, a must-have for my little one waiting for me. And then there are also ostrich leather wallets. Thereafter I stumbled upon the club car, also known as the smoking lounge car. What sets the smoking lounge apart is not that one can smoke there, but that you are offered an array of cigars and spirits for those that are that way inclined. Since I'm not a smoker, I made my way back to the observation car and watched the shadows of the train fall as it travels, oblivious to the rest of the world falling into sunset. Then it was off to my cabin to get ready for dinner. Dinner on board the train is quite an elegant affair. Patrons come dressed up in their fancy attire, so do the waitrons and waiters. It is a very, as I said earlier, it is a very, very fancy affair, and it's quite enjoyable. I do recommend it. Cuisine meals are served in one sitting only in the charming Victorian atmosphere of the dining cars. Before dinner and before guests arrive, we are given the privilege of speaking to the onboard chef.
It's fun, you see places, you go places, there's a lot to do on the train as well. A lot of challenges as well that we face every day. We just enjoy cooking. It's a set menu, there's different set menus for every route that we do. There's like for every route that we do. Also there's a lot of other menus that we do for longer journeys as well, for all our annual journeys as well. For this evening we're doing a lobster, grilled lobsters. Just finished it up in the oven. Then we got a speciality that we do a fondant with fresh berries and ice cream as well. This is quite popular, the most popular dishes that's on our train at the moment. Yeah, it's the moving of the water. Everybody asks me how do we poach our eggs. We actually put a grater inside the water so it doesn't spill on top of us and spill over. There's other challenges as well when we go further up country. It's like falling plates, pots it's falling off and stuff like that. It's quite challenging. You actually have to find a way of trying to keep everything in place.
It is a rocky ride, but we are whisked off to the tiny kitchen and a tour to where the miracles happen.
This is what the galley kitchen looks like. Very little staff. We're 5 on board today, but normally we're 6 people. If you do annual journeys, it's a bigger train. We push up to 72 people out of this kitchen at once. We do all our stuff is made fresh on board the train as well.
Good evening. My name is Anne with my colleagues Victoria.
The house rules we spoke about? Well, the train has a dress code. During the day, the dress is smart casual, but at night, the attire is more formal. This gives a very classy touch to the dining experience. Dinner is then served exactly at 7:30, and what is on plate is to die for. Each meal starts with a starter, then the main, followed by a cheese plate and rounded off with the dessert. Each course is served with a separate fine South African award-winning wine. Day 1 on board the robust rail, pure magic.
Visitors to Stockholm looking for a room with a view might not have to travel too far from the city's Arlanda airport. The former control tower, which has had no use after the new facility was built, has been converted into a luxury apartment.
We've made this up as an apartment and worked together with our partner Home Away to create an absolutely unique apartment up here where you can compete to be able to win a 24-hour experience here at Stockholm Arlanda Airport. I think it was actually some creative minds at marketing that were wondering what was this building now, what was it used for, and actually it wasn't used for anything anymore. It's been empty for some years now. So they came up with the idea to do something nice with it, and I think they succeeded actually.
The studio apartment offers a panoramic view of one of airport's terminals and is located directly next to the runway, offering visitors a good view of planes taking off and landing.
They can expect a unique experience actually, and they will see things nobody else can see that doesn't work at the airport, of course.
Winners of the competition will get to spend a night at the hotel, as well as get a visit to the new flight tower and access to area of the airport not usually open to the public.
And that is me about to board the Pride of Africa on my journey from Pretoria to Cape Town. We'll have more on that next week, but for now we're having a little break and we'll see you right after that.
Jumbo Africa, welcome to the newsroom. I'm Elvis Preslin.
Let us build our continent brick by brick, stone by stone, until we achieve.
Trendz had asked the court to review and cancel the contract after adverse findings by both the Auditor General as well as the Public Protector.
Well, Christianity is under attack globally. It has been from the beginning of time.
Get all the dominating stories locally and globally on Newsroom every Monday to Friday from 9 a.m.
It is a beautiful sunny afternoon right here at the 5-star Fair Loans Boutique Hotel and Spa. And while I enjoy this lovely afternoon, we're going to take you to Nigeria, Somalia and Ethiopia. We have a look at the Laughing Hyenas.
Nigeria's floating Makoko slum was the stage for a performance by women over the weekend about gender inequality and everyday life in a settlement that is the subject of both architectural wonder and struggling with poverty. Hundreds gathered on the boats and slim canoes to watch a special edition of the Heard Word Play, a collection of monologues that combine artistry, social commentary and true life stories. The cast was made up of 8 young women from Makoko with no stage experience, alongside well-known Nollywood names. The women danced and sang about motherhood and the value of the girl child. They also talked about sexual abuse of women and children.
For the first time, I'm really enjoying it because I've never seen something like this before. Even though I'm from the mainland, but you know, the first experience of water and the lights is really awesome.
Ó ti pẹ́ tí mo fi gbé láǹdẹ̀, so mi tí rí nǹkan pàtàkì eléyìí níbi àpọ̀, so bóyá ṣe ó dùn mọ́ mi nínú mo tún láìkẹ̀.
Makoko was established as a fishing village hundreds of years ago, but climate change and rapid urbanization are now threatening its way of life. It is home to over 200,000 people, and some fear it may be targeted for demolition as Lagos moves to meet the demand for prime waterfront land for luxury redevelopment in the megacity of 23 million.
Moti marry so many actors, Timmy Mo, so mo de fẹ́ mọ̀ wọ́n, so ni mo ṣe join drama ẹ̀ àti pé mo ti máa ń lálàá pé mo máa ń act torí ẹ̀ mo ṣe fẹ́ join.
Here word or Misetono in the local Yoruba language was aimed at raising awareness about women's issues, especially at the center of a community under threat.
I chose this slum because it is so close to the most affluent, most powerful people in Nigeria, and it is just 5 minutes away. It's also under threat. This community, the land it stands on, is valuable, and so there's some talk about removing these people. I would like to just have them participate. I would like to also, I know that the women here are really the people who churn the wheel in this community, and women need to hear this message of empowerment.
It was also a new experience for the veteran Nollywood actors in the cast.
I love the sense of community. I love the sense of impact, you know, that it's not just that you're coming here and distributing items. It's ideas that are being shared, you know, on both sides, you know, so I find it very exciting.
For 3 years since it was established, critics say Hereward has delivered an intimate view into the lives of Nigerian women across the country. In Somalia, artist and muralist Muawiyah Hussein Sadao offers a contrast to the airbrushed artworks that advertise big business in other parts of the world. Sadao, also known as Shik Shik, is the man responsible for the art that features on more than 100 shops, including barbers, tea shops and supermarkets across Mogadishu.
waxaana aan ku barbaaray sida degmada Afgooye waxaana dugsi sare hoose dhexe oo soo baxay degmada Afgooye markaan dugsi sare dhameeyay waxa aan bartay shaqada artska oo aabay igu dhiirigeliyay inaan barto.
Sadal's work has a hand-drawn simplicity, usually involving bright, eye-catching colors. Some pieces stretch over several meters. Sadal's father was a commercial artist who passed his knowledge and skills on to his son. Sadal, now 31, took on his father's business in 1998, and his painting supports not only his own family but helps sustain his dad as well as many others.
shaqada waxaan bilaabay 1997 waxaana ku bilaabay inaan degmada Xamarweyne faanka aabeyga inaan ka shaqeeyo oo shaqadiisa aan ku wado aan isaga aan faankiisa ka shaqeeyo maadaama oo shaqadii aan maaragtay xilligaas aan bilaabay ilaa hadda aan faraaq ku jiro waxaana ku yaala degmada Xamarweyne qaasatan Muqdisho.
Somalia's economy is picking up slowly after a successful peacekeeping mission. Storefront murals are a common way of advertising in Mogadishu, but Sadal said he never duplicated his murals.
wuxuu shaqada ka fariistay 1998 shaqadiisa booskiisa anaa galay shaqadiisa aan ugu wado waxaana 16 ka degmo shaqada uu ku wado inaan anigu shaqeeyo oo booskiisa aan galo kankiisana kaga shaqeeyo.
Aside from feeding his family and brightening up the urban landscape, Sadal still has ambitions to do more with his art.
waxaan sameeyaa sawiro oo aniga maskaxdeyda sawiro aan maskaxdeyda ka shaqeeyo aan maaragtay aan ku qabtaa sawirada aan sameeyno waxa waaye sida farshaxanka sawirada hidaha iyo dhaqanka sida sawirka camal uu muuqdo.
He is also teaching other up-and-coming artists the tricks of the trade and says many of them have gone on to start their own very successful businesses.
Hyenas roam the streets of the ancient walled city of Hara in eastern Ethiopia every night, seeking scraps of meat to drag to their nearby caves. But residents are not afraid. A family has been chosen by the town to feed the animals, braving hyena bites that are 10 times as strong as humans. Abbas Yusuf, known as Hyena Man, learned to feed the hyenas from his father, Yusuf Mume Saleh, who fed them for 45 years before passing the job on to his son 13 years ago. His work is now an attraction, drawing in local and international tourists who come to see the city's ancient mosques nestled within its old stone walls. Abbas has given the hyenas names according to their behavior and appearance. Among them are Dabasu, or hairy, Tukaldili, or lazy, and Kala, meaning skinny. The hyenas do recognize their names once called by Abbas. To encourage visitors to trust the hyenas, Abbas feeds them directly from his mouth. The hyenas live in caves outside the city and roam the rubbish dumps, also outside the walls. Some hyenas give birth in the ditches in the middle of the city. Abbas Yusuf's wish is for the city not to expand beyond where it is now, saying it would be a catastrophe for hyenas to have their habitat destroyed. Hara, with a population of 240,000 people, started to expand out of its original wall after 1882 and is now surrounded by modern buildings.
Bosona ciraa jiran is ganda ta'aa jira waraabessi baqachaa jira gize bosona bakka inni galuufaa irraa jiranii waan ni godhan inninis ni baqate jechuudha.
It has been a center of Islamic culture since it was founded in the 7th century. In the 16th century, Amir Nu ibn Mujahid built a 4-meter high protective wall around the city, pierced by 5 gates. Every year since the 16th century, to mark the birth of Prophet Muhammad, the city's residents offer the hyenas porridge mixed with butter and goat meat on the Hakim mountain outside the city, believed to be a holy site because of the ancient Muslim leaders of the city that are buried there.
lama faan biitti keenya akka biyya biraa irraan adda taate akka argamtu godhaa jechuudha. Amma biyya biraa yoo deete waraabessa namni akkanatti ifitti madaqsee jechuudha. Waraabessaa hojii jiraatu hin jiru jechuudha. Nuti ammoo waraabessa jiruu ka'ee galee waraabessaa hojii akka dhalannee jechuudha waraabessaa argine nuti. Waraabessaa argine abbaan kiyya osoo nuti hin jenne dura waraabessaa fi kayatu. Eegas booda nuti akkas jechuudha. Kanaafuu jiruu teenya waraabessaan eegalee.
If the hyenas refuse the sacrifice, people believe the country will have bad luck. We have so much more coming up for you on Trendz Travel, so don't go anywhere.
What guides us? What leads us forward? Is it the advice of our elders? Is it the actions of our people? Or the voices of our citizens? Your country is guided by the voices of its people, and your broadcaster is dependent on your voice to guide it. Get your copy of the SABC's editorial policy and have your say.
We're talking news, business and sporting updates both continentally and abroad. South Africa is in its first economic recession since 2009.
Currency has appreciated quite a lot, especially for this year. And it has benefited from a number of things, not so much to do with what was happening here at home.
The Islamic State-linked news agency AMAC claims the latest attack was launched because of Australia's backing in the US fight against the group.
Constad is one of the dozens of women who have accused Cosby of sexual assault, but hers is the only case recent enough to be subjected to criminal prosecution.
Stay tuned to News Today at 3 p.m. from Monday to Friday on SABC News.
Welcome back to Trendz Travel. Now, you know this is the month where everybody's doing their 67 minutes for Mandela Day. Now, in that spirit, we'll show you what Caroline Steyn is up to, as well as our 67 blankets.
The Saxon Hotel. Situated in the heart of the City of Gold, this leisure stay has a perfect blend of rich cultural history and impeccable 5-star service.
Ça va bien et soyez les bienvenus, maman.
Ah, merci beaucoup.
Ça fait longtemps, hein?
Ça fait très longtemps.
Merci.
Our wonderful host Caroline Steyn welcomed us to this beautiful space that was once her humble abode. This hotel has an inspired vision when it comes to art. It has an impressive art collection which showcases an eclectic mix of established and emerging artists from all parts of the globe.
It was very, bright and vibrant, and Stephen Falk came in to create these neutral shades, this African elegance chic, which really speaks to what the Saxon brand is, and that is an African home.
A special favorite of the Steyns is the original sketches by Dean Simon, which features some of the Saxons' most celebrated guests.
It started out as my husband's home, and also home to Nelson Mandela when he came out of prison, where he spent about a year with my husband editing his book Long Walk to Freedom, and there was a father-son relationship that developed between my husband Dostane and Madiba. He used to make his own bed, he used to wash his own plate, he used to go into the kitchen to personally thank the chefs, and that was the kind of person that I got to know. Nelson Mandela, the great man, always thanking every single person around him. People used to stand in long lines to come in because he wanted to shake everybody's hand. It's a beautiful lesson.
Nelson Mandela's big heart inspired Carolyn Steyn to create an initiative that attracts thousands of members, not only in South Africa, but also around the world, to knit blankets for those in need.
Well, my main initiative is 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. And it started out December 19th, 2013, just after we'd lost Madiba. And Zelda Lachransi, Mandela's assistant, was at the lunch table with us, and I was boasting about my domestic abilities, of which I have very few. And she said, why don't you make 67 blankets for Mandela Day? And of course, sounded like a cool challenge, not too difficult. And until I realized, you know, because I hadn't crocheted since I left school, which was, what, about 10 years ago. And I realized I couldn't make 67 blankets on my own. And my friends were too busy, they don't cook, they don't knit, they're too busy. So I created a group on Facebook called 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day, which is now 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day South Africa, because we're in so many countries around the world. We've exploded into a movement in 3 and a bit years.
Mrs. Steyn is a speech and drama major. She is now back on the screens playing the role of herself to promote the 67 Blankets campaign.
It is so surreal. I mean, who would have thought? About 10 years ago, I think, I was on Generations, because I'm an actress. I don't have time to act much these days, because I'm the blanket lady. I mean, I'm really focused on 67 blankets. But I played the role of Barbara having the affair with Capella, the blonde, buxom, bigger Barbara. And fast forward a few years, and there I am playing Carolyn Steyn, the founder of 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. And it's quite out of this world. It's quite extraordinary how that happened. You know, that Mfundi Wundler, the producer, phones me to ask for a meeting. I mean, I think it's Madiba guiding this whole thing.
The world's first ever man-made diamonds, Inception Diamonds, created with social responsibility in mind, created an event that celebrates the diamonds of South Africa.
I believe that they're going to be auctioning off a diamond, and the proceeds will be going to 67 Blankets for Nelson Mandela Day, because there are so many thousands of people who have the will, who do not have the wool. So the money goes towards the purchase of wool.
We're celebrating diamonds the same way that they're individualistic as the people that we're surrounded by this evening. And tonight is about giving back, and especially from our community, to give closest to home, and whatever we can do to help, we give back. Our company gives 5% of all its profits through to charitable causes, and 67 Blankets is one of the organizations.
Celebrating diamonds is really celebrating life, so tonight is really great because it's great people coming together, celebrating life through diamonds, through Carolyn Steyn's vision, with all the people that participated. So I'm very honored and excited to be here and to be selected as one of the diamonds that they feel they want to honor tonight.
I'm honored to actually be here at this beautiful event, and you know, another thing is that it's beautiful to celebrate South African arts, or the artists, you know. So if it's musicians or actors or doctors, you know, but if it's people doing good in the country, it's always great to celebrate them. And it's always also good for us to get together all at times, because we're from different types of genres, you know, and or industries, you know. So I think it's a great thing.
Combining passion, expertise, and the latest global gourmet food trends, the chefs at the Luke Dale Roberts always take guests on an unforgettable fine dining journey.
We're doing a 5-course menu. We're going to start off with the amuse-bouche, which is actually a surprise sort of welcome starter thing. Then we go into the beef tataki. That is served with sun-dried tomatoes and a red pepper dressing. And then on to the sea bass. And with that dish, it's a sea bass tartare with laveage pesto and a garlic catalan. And we try to sort of highlight the elements from the garden that we are using. And then we go on to the lamb, which is one of our signature dishes in the restaurant. And from there on to the impala. The impala is served with coffee and butternut, very sort of classic flavors. And then after that we finish off with a very sort of vegetal dessert, dill and coconut, very sort of fragrant, and that is also highlighted in our garden.
Well, I hope that you did get your chance to do your bit for Mandela Day, and if not, there's still plenty of time for you to do your bit for society and for those less fortunate than yourself. Coming up right now, though, is a short break.
After a horrific accident, major questions were asked.
So step one, I asked myself, do I really want to die? And my answer to that was, I'm not sure. And then step two was, do I want my parents to bury me? And my answer to that was no.
Learning kept his brain in full action on how the brain works.
When I was in hospital, right, as I was saying, to catch up with my peers, I started to become obsessed with memory techniques and how the brain works and how we retain information.
Touching lives is his continuous mission.
I now work for a non-profit where we deal with access issues regarding kids with disabilities and persons with disability. We're busy working on beach access.
Being wheelchair-bound did not stop fun in his life.
I party in a wheelchair, I laugh in a wheelchair, I smile in a wheelchair.
For all your uplifting stories, catch Bupilong every Friday.
Well, if you like good food and good wine, or just good food because you're not much of a wine drinker like myself, then the Good Food and Wine Show was for you. And if you couldn't make it, well, Trendz has your back.
Regarded as one of the largest and prominent culinary events in Mzansi.
Good Food and Wine Show 2017, we're out in Johannesburg. How was Cape Town?
Cape Town was rocking, man. I had a really good time, and Good Food and Wine Show as a whole is a lot of fun. It's for me at least, it's a lot of good food, and I love being here because I get to do food and music all in one.
If you compare Cape Town to Joburg, what would you say is more banging?
I'd say Joburg is really vibey. I've seen a different sort of side. You know, Cape Town was good, it was awesome, but I've seen a lot more turnout here and a lot more vibe. I think it's really nice.
Judging by these snaking queues, as well as the number of well-known chefs cooking here, it is clear that the Good Food and Wine Show held at the Dome, north of Johannesburg, is popular, and this time around, it was even bigger and better.
I've been so busy, man. They have me back to back here. That's what happens when you're one of the headline chefs, you know, so they work you to the bone, but it's been a lot of fun. So obviously I'm promoting a new TV show that I'm going to be a part of with David Higgs. It's called My Kitchen Rules, South Africa, and that's a lot of fun. So the first stop today was at at the MKR demo stand. I made my mom's prawns with the fresh linguine, which is really delicious. And then I did another cooking with chefs, which is like an interactive cooking station. So I get to actually cook with people. And we did a strawberry tiramisu. And then I did another demo at the MKR stand with David Higgs. And we did a twist on Papan Place, which is really cool. And then at 5 p.m. I'm going to be at the Open Theatre, which is the main sort of stage. And I'm going to be doing a salmon dish and a dish that is a tribute to black coffee. It's called Get Him to the Greek. Black coffee's favorite country to travel to is Greece. So part of my collaborations that comes from the restaurant that I have is this dish.
The event had a stellar lineup made up of well-known international as well as local chefs who seared, flamed and drizzled mouth-watering dishes at South Africa's largest culinary event. Spearheaded by the world's first celebrity chef that was awarded 3 Michelin stars and hold the title as the first British chef and the youngest chef to earn this honor, Pierre White, and South Africa's Michelin star chef, Jan Hendrik van der Westhuizen.
Do you have any special favorites? Are you a groupie to any of them?
I admire chefs as a whole, you know, whether they're international, whether they got Michelin stars, whether they just chefs, you know. I admire people that understand the science behind food, which I think is an important thing to kind of try and understand. Because you start to understand what you're putting in your body, why those ingredients are on the plates, what do they add to the dish. So Pierre White, obviously being one of the most celebrated chefs from a global point of view, I think we're really honored to have him here, and I think he's an incredible person. He's a very very chefy person, you know. He's strict, he's stern, he's serious, and that doesn't mean that he's not a good person. He's a very nice person. Chef Jan Hendrik, who's South Africa's first Michelin star chef, he's also been really cool. I dig his vibe. And then every single other chef that's here, you know, I've got my whole team here from my restaurant, so we've got our own little stand that we're serving some of the dishes from the restaurant. That's also been fun, yeah. So I admire chefs as a whole.
The show had 9 theaters, giving families a chance to interact with their favorite chefs who made headline appearances. Some of our favorite Mzansi chefs, Lindsay Bengu and Sherwin Mitch, had a family cook-off in one of the theaters.
Why wouldn't you want to come to the Good Food and Wine Show, man? You know, it's the biggest food event in Africa where we celebrate wine, fine food, African food, Western food, Indian food, whatever it is.
It's just African food.
Yeah.
It's African culture. So literally the Good Food and Wine Show, that's all of Africa combined. And Africa's food on our table.
It's 3 days of Ubuntu.
Yes!
Through food. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's literally lunch at Sharon or Maya's place in Durban. Yeah, because we're both from Durban, so we're friends. So that's what we get up to when we cook for our friends.
And let's be honest, like, there's also the whole versus thing going on, and Lenny's like, no, family don't fight.
No, family don't fight.
Family comes together with food.
Yeah,
so
did you see the end, how they all ate at the end and they were munching,
at the table,
and they were sharing? That's the art and that's the beauty of cooking.
They were sharing, when you had to experience with food, like sit back, fall in love with food the way we were when we were kids.
How passionate is he?
When you heard about the Good Food and Wine Show and you saw the list of all the people that are going to be here, who did you think you're going to be out here for?
Definitely Neil Anthony, Jay Something, Jenny Morris, and yeah, just the different wine stands. I was like, I'm definitely going to be there. Gin is the latest thing as well, so I'm a big lover of gin.
You're the kind of person that watches your cooking shows and that type of thing?
I cook myself, so.
You're a chef?
No, I'm not a chef, I'm a cook. Huge difference.
From the shows that you got to see today, who was one of your favorites?
I only got to see 2. So the favorite out of the 2 was definitely the Jay Something and David Higgs.
How is 2017 Good Food and Wine Johannesburg?
I think it's okay. I think I was expecting a bit more, slightly underwhelmed. But I think there's more interest in the wine sections than the food sections. Yeah, but it's really nice to see some black cooks as well on the floor as well, producing some of their foods, which is great.
I'm definitely going to be looking at the desserts, that's for sure.
You got a sweet tooth. Okay. Do you have a sweet tooth as well?
No.
What are you planning on having? When you're thinking of something sweet, what are you feeling like?
Like maybe like some pancakes with some chocolate sauce on them, and like some strawberries sprinkled with a little bit of hazelnuts, you know.
Do you watch a lot of cooking shows?
Yes. with my cousin.
Do you have any favorites when it comes to the chefs that are here today?
No, not yet. I'm looking forward to seeing Jay something though.
Oh, yes. Everybody's looking forward to see Jay something. Are you looking forward to see Jay something?
I have a sweet tooth too. I love MasterChef and that's why we came here because Marco Pierre White is here.
Oh, so you're a Marco Pierre White fan.
Oh, I love him so much.
If you were to give him a message, what would you say? Tell him in camera.
Hello Marco Pierre White. I'm so upset I didn't get to meet you in person. You're my hero and I hope in the future one day I can meet you.
We caught up with the MasterChef Australia star judge, the godfather of modern cooking, Marco Pierre White.
I think when you've got to do masterclasses, for example, like today in Joburg, the Good Food and Wine Show, you've got to do dishes which are almost recognizable, which people can understand. To make a small plate of something which is highly technical over 45 minutes and talk in a technical way, people turn off. I think what's really important is to do dishes which 80, 100 people can sample, so we tend to do one big pot. And today that one big pot is going to be a macaroni of shellfish, which is just simple and delicious, very classical, but when we make it, the viewer will understand exactly what we're making. But as I've always said, the most important are stories. Because stories can inspire people, recipes can confuse people. And so when I do my masterclasses, I engage with everybody in the audience. I bring some of them round me. And so we interact, rather than just making it formal. They sit down and I talk at them for 45 minutes. It's not right. Because a lot of the time, people, they don't really want to know about food in the sense of the technicalities of food. What they want is a little insight into who you are as a person. They want to hear stories. They want your opinions on things. And so therefore I make it very casual, and at the end of it I feed 80 to 100 people.
Cape Town-based private chef Neil Anthony trained in the kitchens of Gordon Ramsay, Marcus Wareing and other big international cooking grades, was also part and parcel of this great culinary festival. Neil is the type of chef who gets invited to cook in the homes of prestigious clients, socialite friends, and fun-loving acquaintances, transforming their dining experience into exclusive and private dinner extravaganzas. He released his collection of his most favorite recipes in his new cookbook titled The Private Chef.
New book is 100% new content. That's really what I'm cooking right now. It's beautifully shot. It's just a collection of great recipes and great pictures.
This festival explores the great infusions of textures and taste of the palate.
It's such a personal thing. If you want to have food with vodka or gin or wine or water or soft drinks, it's really, really a personal experience. I do guide people in terms of what they should have, but at the end of the day, it's your own choice.
You are trying out wine, based teaching you how to what?
He's trying to teach me, Uguti baby, Masika, this goes with this and this goes with this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what do you advise? What does this go well with?
This is a Pinot Touch. I think it actually goes well with the meat. Not well done, but a medium to medium meat.
Okay.
Yes.
I know. What's your favorite when it comes to wine?
Wine is a Shiraz.
Shiraz, why?
It's an off-dry wine, which is good. It's a good aftertaste.
So from what you just, okay, you're giving us the brow. That means you don't know. So how many glasses of wine have you had of different tastes, and what do you prefer?
This is the second one, actually. I just had the Shiraz, yeah, and then the Pinot Touch. So I think the Shiraz one was nice. I'm gonna taste this one and see how it goes.
What are you sipping on right now?
One of the Michelangelo International Wine and Spirit Awards wine.
You just don't know what blend.
They didn't say a blend. It is a blend. That's all I know. That's all I know.
You look very bubbly. So I guess what are you having in there?
This is gin and tonic.
Okay.
And it's very nice.
And you have 2 glasses with you. Why?
You have to balance yourself.
So are you more of a gin drinker than a wine drinker?
No, I'll go for a wine drinker.
Okay.
Yes.
So what were some of your favorites that you got to taste today?
Well, Simon's birth. It's white, red wine, Pinot Touch, very nice. And I'm going back now.
The theme for this year's Good Food and Wine Show was food waste. organizers and well-known cooking personalities were helping to raise awareness around this global issue. Research has shown that in South Africa alone, 9 million tons of food are wasted per year. So guests were given advice on how to curb food waste by showing them scrumptious dishes that they can create for themselves and not throw away food.
There are 1,001 things that we could do to kind of minimize wastage. But I think the one advice that I would give people is be vigilant of what you buy, why you buy it, and how you use it. Because you know, sometimes you go to the grocery store and you see something nice, but you're actually not going to use it there and then. I would rather kind of say, listen, when you want to make something, go and get the things for that day, go back home, use them, and you're done. I go on a monthly sort of store run and I get the dry goods, I get my meat, I freeze my meat. I get my canned stuff, I get my dried stuff like my rice, my pasta, my maize meal, whatever it is. That stuff is not wastage. That's not where the wastage is. The wastage is in, you make a chicken, you leave the carcass, right? And then you go and buy a stock from a store, a chicken stock, and you actually don't realize that all you need to do is keep that carcass, add it into a pot, add some water, add some aromatics, add some vegetables, and you've got your own stock, which you can then freeze, pack, put into the freezer. So it's not, and then also one of the biggest things that I waste is the fresh stuff. So I'll buy a packet of salad and then I'll only use half of it, and then tomorrow I'll forget about it and it goes off. I'll buy mealies for the braai and we 2 people at the house, and then we'll buy 6, and then the rest doesn't get used. So if you're buying, think about what you're buying.
And judging by the number of stalls that were there, South African foodies enjoyed themselves. The event lived up to its promise and will hopefully attract more festival goers for the next year's event.
And that's all we have for you on today's edition of Trendz Travel, coming to you from the Fairlawns Boutique Hotel and Spa. We do hope that you enjoyed that, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place.